Start again. We're still recording. I'll never get the hang of this. Right, so what we're going to look at today is the Ericsson Plessey Plan 1. I'll just remind people, for those of you that aren't aware, that my background isn't a telecoms background, it's more a TV video background. So for those of you that are the purists and don't like this video, nobody's forcing you to watch it, you can stop now. So this is a Plessey. I'm just going to straighten that camera up a little bit, but I don't think it'll make a difference. This is Plessey, Ericsson Plessey system, little intercom system with one exchange line, which is advertised as Plessey or Ericsson or whoever they were at the time, advertised it as basically similar to the GPO Plan 105 at the time, or 107 internal if you only had one internal extension. So with this one I've got this set up as two, with two extensions. One thing I have found, I don't know if anybody else feels the same, the diagrams that allow you to connect some of these Plessey systems up are very, very vague. Sometimes you have to find your own way of doing it to make it work, and this is partly what I've done with this, but that's beyond the scope of this video at the moment. I'm just going to give you a demonstration of how it would work in normal use. Now, also I've had to cobble it up out of what I had available. So in the original system, all the phones would be of the GPO 710 type. They're actually Ericsson 1906s. Let's not get into the differences in numbering as well. And so even extension phones, in my case I've had to use 746s because it was all I had to hand at the time. Similarly, I've found that with all the Ericsson systems I've encountered that the original buzzers don't work, so I've had to fit more modern electronic calling devices in place of the buzzers. Additionally, in the original system, both extension phones would have had the bell off facility. I've never understood why they would both have the bell off facility, because it relies on the what Ericsson called the intermediate, which the GPO would call the main. It relies on that calling the extensions to let them know of the absence of this phone, so that they would turn the bells on. In my case, I've only got one phone that you can switch the bell on and off, one extension, and the other one just has the call button. So that's that bit. So one of the redeeming features of this is that as soon as you lift the handset on either of the extensions, dial tone's available from the exchange line, unlike the GPO 105 and 107 versions, where you would have to call the main and then request that they switch the exchange line through. So I can sort of understand a little bit why Ericsson would call this one the intermediate. I don't know whether you saw that, I didn't see it, but when you lift I'll just do that. So when you lift that, there is a lamp that lights up on the intermediate, which indicates that the exchange line is in use. And similarly, if I do it on that phone there, same thing will happen there. It's probably battery connection come off, hang on. Oh, it's alright. Right, and that's done by an additional gravity switch within the intermediate phones. So on the main there are 4 keys, ring 1, ring 2, I think that one is that's extension, that's exchange. So if the main wants to, the intermediate wants to use the exchange line, they would pick the phone up, press the exchange key, they would receive dial tone, dial whatever number they required, and as soon as you put the handset back on the switch hooks, it releases that. If somebody calls, if we'll just set an incoming call up, and that should, in a minute, they should ring, or very shortly. Oh, we've got a wasp in. Right, so the main would answer pressing the exchange button. They would then, if somebody requested the extension, they would press the extension button where the exchange button would remain down. They would press the appropriate key to ring the extension. The extension would answer, and all they would then do is replace the handset, and the exchange line would be through to the extension. If for some reason there was no answer at the extension, a repress of the exchange button would release the extension button. Now, I think you've noticed there that the buzzers aren't the same. I think I've got them the wrong way around. Yes, I have. I've got, that's extension 1, that's extension 2. Anyway, this button here is just a recall button, which would be used if if they were piggybacked onto the end of a PBX. Similarly, if I want to call the extension, I can press the button on there, and we did of course say that you can on one of these, we can switch the bell off. You probably won't be able to hear it very well. I can switch the bell off on that one, and then we've only got those 2 ringing. I can switch the bell back on that one. Right, so one small improvement I've made, which I think Ericsson, Plessey, or whoever they were once again at the time, missed out on, was you'll notice with, if the extension calls the main, if the main lifts the handset, the buzzer will automatically stop. In the original system, that didn't happen with the extensions. I've fitted an additional gravity switch so that now if we, it's that one, isn't it? If we call the extension and it lifts the handset, it'll cut the buzzer off straight away. That's pretty much, I mean, it's a simple little system. It's relatively nothing very interesting about it, but it does the job. But the one other thing that I did forget to mention is with the GPO 105 and 107, in the idle state you've got extension to extension calling. With this system there's no extension to extension calling unless the intermediate is also lifted and the extension button is pressed. And I think probably they might have missed out on that, but you've got to remember these systems are quite old, they were of the time, and they served the purpose at the time. And I think with these they're probably supplied a lot by telephone rentals probably supplied a lot by telephone rentals of the time, and I think from what I've heard and what I've read, a lot of them were hung off the end of paxes, so they weren't even connected to the public exchange. I'm going to do a future video which demonstrates the Ericsson, the Mark 6 system, which is another interesting little system. That one has intercom facility. It's 3 phones again. It has an intercom facility. It has the capacity for 3 lines, 1 joint line and then an exclusive line at each extension. But I haven't quite got around to that because I've done some refinements with that as well, which is going to upset some of the purists, but hey ho, there you go. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, fine. If you didn't enjoy it, I ain't forcing you to watch it.